Hello everyone, it's me, Jobter, back at it again with another video. So, I've done two videos, and only those two videos really. One was Ben 10 aliens had Pokemon types. My first ever video, I might add. And my second best, right after a random meme I made in about 20 minutes. And the second one was making Pokemon into D&D characters, which is one of my more recent ones that is a proper video like this and not a meme I made in about 20 minutes. So to complete this trifecta of sorts, it had to be something about Ben 10 and D&D. So what do I do here? Do I try to make Ben in D&D? Well, someone's already did that. Do I try to homebrew stuff? Or do I just take the aliens and make them into the D&D monsters as best I can? Obviously that's a slightly convoluted way to get to where we are now. So I'm taking every single alien Ben's transformed into from the main series. I have not seen the reboot and I still refuse to acknowledge it. And just loosely turning them into D&D monsters. How I'm doing about this is finding the closest approximation and saying if there is any changes that need to be made. Do you know, I'm incredibly inexperienced in D&D, especially when it comes to monsters. Characters, I can churn out like 50 of those in a day, but monsters, I don't know as much. If there is better options, just let me know. And let's get started. Kicking it off, very simple. Heat Blast is just a fire elemental. No real changes need to be made, as far as I'm aware. Walnut, I chose Chimeric Cat because the main thing about Walnut is that it is a four-legged creature with blind sight and high senses. And of the ones I can find, I think Chimeric Cat fits best, except make it into a Chimeric Dog and size it up a bit. Diamond Head, I just made a stone golem, except instead of stone, it's diamonds. For Accelerate, I've found a Quickling, which it sounds like it works best. Some of my notes are from ages ago, and some are more recent. Really all you need to do is increase the size. Gray Matter, I went with a tiny Gripply. They are frog creatures, but not like the other frog creatures. There's like Gripply, there's Grung, which sounds like a slur, being perfectly honest, and Bullywog. I just went Gripply. Because Grung is poisonous, and Grey Matter species aren't. For forearms, I went with Gorillon, because they have four arms. Alright, they're also pretty strong. It was mainly the forearms thing. Stinkfly, I went a Black Dragon Wormling, because I need to get the flying and the acid. I think acid works better than poison, because most of Stinkfly is a goopy substance. This one, remove the bite and water breath. Maybe change the bite into a sting. Ripjaws, I went Undershark. It's pretty simple. Upgrade, I went with Galvan Majin. Let's replace that lightning with a laser and we're all good. Ghost Freak, just a specter, nothing more. Cannonbolt, I needed something that rolled for attack. Not like rolling dice, but like Sonic. I found Galebdur. Ankeg, the main thing with Spitter is obviously spitting, and Ankeg does just that. And Shelly Mound, it's walking grass, walking plant, it's obviously, right? Buzzshock, I just went a Storm Elemental, except small. And Arctiguana is just a Frost Salamander. Blitzwolfer, it's a werewolf, except there's no human form. And there's just like a supersonic howl in its place. Just like how Snarl is a mummy and Frankenstein is a flesh golem. which is just D&D terms for a Frankenstein's monster. Did I say Frankenstein? I meant to say Frankenstrike. Upchuck. I have it as Bander Hob, except there is no shadow stuff, and it's small. For Ditto, I went with Grey Ooze. I needed something malleable, and that can split in half. And lucky the Grey Ooze does that. Normally when it dies. This one can do it on command, but isn't corrosive at all. I chose Spectator, which I believe is just a different beholder, but make it humanoid. And Waybig is a storm giant. Obviously, he is the biggest alien. And he also, I believe, is born in like celestial storms, something along that. So, just got rid of his weapons and changed lightning to a laser again. Now we go on to Alien Force. We got Swamp Fire. And I went with Needle Blight, except with all the abilities of Swamp Fire. Swamp Fire is already covered in needles, so Needle Blight was right there. Echo is just the same as Ditto, but add the Sonic Screech, the same thing we did for Blitzwolfer. Humongousaur, I found Regisaur. I was really just going to have a Tarask, but I think this is more interesting, because it's less interesting. It's just a D&D dinosaur. But that's all you really need. Also give it size change. Stingray, based on its body shape, it's very clearly a wyvern. I mean, can't you tell the difference? We just changed the stinger to a range 4 damage. And Big Chill is an ice method, which are small ice demons, but now increase the size a bit and give it some ghostly properties. For Chromastone, to make it different from Diamond Head, I went with Canopic Golem, which are also constructs, but these ones can redirect and mess with spells, but change the redirect to an absorption, and that's pretty close to energy absorption, which is what Chromastone does. This is quite possibly the stupidest note in there, but I love it because of that. Brainstorm is brain in a jar, but change the jar to a crab. Spider Monkey is an Edicap. Edicap, just by itself, looks like it could be Ultimate Spider Monkey without the spider limbs, which is to say it looks like a gorilla. Goop, I went with Obelix Spawn, except for this one, it's a bit more interesting. It is just Goop, but give it a weak point that hovers slightly above it. And with Alien X, I looked up what the strongest creatures in D&D were a while ago. Found these guys called Empyrean, picked them, and moved on. I had nothing here. Lodestar, I found Lodestone Marauder. Couldn't find too many things with magnetism. So, on the flip side of that whole mess, Wrath is a Leonin, which is just lion people, except instead of lion, he's a tiger. And Nanomech is just a metal wasp, but changed the poison into a laser. Ultimate Alien. Water Hazard. Let's just make it a living iron statue, except with water weapons. Amphibian will make a living lightning bolt, so it can fly and shoot lightning, as opposed to other lightning people that fly and shoot. And but make it a non-construct and add swimming speed. Armadillo is just worm. It's just a worm. And Terraspin is a dragon turtle, but instead of swimming, it flies. And most of its attacks replaced with just a regular attack and Wind Blast. NRG, I believe, could be a fire giant dreadnought, except replace the shields and rock with Fire Laser. Fast Track is the same as Accelerate. It is literally Accelerate, but worse. So for Clockwork, I couldn't find anything for a bit. I found Chronomental, but I'll be straight up. Because of my limited knowledge, I did not know if this was an official D&D thing or not. I'm still gonna have it as the entry, but I have no idea. If someone can validate for it, please do. Chem-Alien is an ambush drake, which is just to say it is a dragon-like thing that ambushes, except this one also has very good camouflage. Onto Shock Squatch, we have Hybrid Shocker. This one has a question mark with it and said make more bestial. I most likely, because some of these were from a while ago, looked up Lightning Monster D&D and found that. Beetle, I just had a giant fire beetle because that's the only beetle that I could find that wasn't just a swarmodom. Except replace light with ranged attack, and Jury Rig is just a homunculus with high intelligence. We're gonna have Imp, but Imps have other shenanigans going on. There's more to remove, so homunculus works just fine. And speaking of just fine, we're onto Omniverse. No, for real, Omniverse is probably my second favorite in the series. Feedback, I chose a Skeledar, make it humanoid and give it 2 things to absorb. Blocks. Blocks gave me the most trouble. So much so that I actively gave up. Literally my note is construct that assembles itself. I don't know. It's Lego. It's Lego. You're fighting a Lego brick. Why is it even a thing? Gravitack. Gravity Elemental. Cause gravity. And Crash Hopper is a 3 Crane. Which is Bug People because it is a Bug People. Now Ball Weevil I could have also made just a bug thing. I chose a Kitty Widget because it's a small thing with lightning reaction. Except this one is organic to fit with Ball Weevil, and replace the tail attack with a ranged attack. Walker Trout is a Locusta, which I kept saying Locants or Locanants or stuff like that in the last time I did this. But it doesn't have anything good about it because Walker Trout has nothing good about it. Anyway, so Pesky Dust is a pixie. Captain Obvious over here. Mustache. So there is this creature called a Cord or a Kored, and one of their abilities is control over their facial hair. It could be control over hair itself, or it's usually for a beard. This one's for a mustache, but it also has a bunch of stone stuff connected to that, so just take that away and you're fine. The worst. This is another one where I gave up. Take any small creature, give it no attacks whatsoever, but insane HP and or AC. Anyway, so Kickin' Hawk is an Aarakocra. Aarakocra. I'm probably saying that wrong. But it can't fly. So Topic, I found now Feshni, which invokes fear when people look at it. Do that, remove teleporting and presumably bite, and reduce size, and you're fine. Astrodactyl is just a Terrafolk, which is to say a pterodactyl, but instead of a harpoon, it has lasers and laser whips. Ben 10 has a lot of lasers. Bullfrag is one of the previously mentioned bullywogs. Atomics, I picked Marut, chosen for its immense power. Just remove Justify and give it a different ability, whatever. Gut Rot, I picked an Iron Golem without fire resistance weapon because Iron Golems can spit poison for some reason. So hey, it works out. And Vampire is a vampire. A pretty lackluster ending, but it can also turn into a gargoyle. So there you go. You got all those creatures. Now to just slap them on a magic item that lets you polymorph into one of them at a time. And there you go, really. If you did enjoy, subscribe. You know how it works. Yeah, this has been Jorpter. Catches.